Today on this Jeep Renegade guy, we're going to do an oil change on this Jeep Renegade. This Renegade that we're doing the oil change on is the 1.4 liter turbo 4-cylinder, and it is going to be the same as doing an oil change on a Fiat 500X. I believe also the 500L. So the first thing we need to pick up is the proper oil to do the job. So it's going to be an SAE 5W40. The 5W40, it does need to be a Euro blend. So this is unique because the car is really a Fiat, even though it's supposedly a Jeep. So it's pretty important to take a look at this stuff, and one of the things that you have to track down is it needs to be API certified. That's just a certification that's specific to the engine. You do want to maintain your warranty and make sure everything works properly. So using the right kind of oil is key. So I'll bring this in so you can see what it looks like. I'm also going to be able to put a link in the description down below so you can pick up some for yourself. Now keep in mind, this is the third oil change I've done on the car. The bottles seem to change colors. These happen to be yellow. I've purchased them in silver, and I've been told you can get them in black as well. So don't worry about the color of the bottle. It's the Pennzoil Platinum Euro full synthetic, and that's what the owner's manual calls out for. Now, I'm always a fan of using the specific oil filters for the car. So as you can see here, that's the part number. So the Mopar oil filters are great just because it's going to be the right stuff, but it's going to look a little bit different than most oil filters you've run into. And the reason for that is this actually sits down into a basically a little bowl that holds it, and that's pretty common on Euro cars. If you've ever worked on BMWs, Audis, or Mercedes, that kind of thing, you'll see this all the time. It's a little different for American cars, but so different look, but this is what you're looking for. This engine, the 1.4 liter, takes 4 quarts exactly, so you can just buy 4 straight quarts and basically go from there. So next step, we'll go ahead, jack the car up, get everything going, and go from there. So before we go ahead and lift up the car, got everything set, let's go ahead and pull the trunk release, or excuse me, the hood release, which is going to be right under here. Just click that, you can see the picture of the hood. And then let's go ahead, walk to the front of the car here. And you'll see right there, see it right in there. Lift that over, and that's what's going to open the hood here. All right, before you get started and lift the vehicle up, you're going to want to go ahead and do 2 things. So I'm going to try to bring the camera down into here, but what we're trying to see is that down, all the way down there. Let's see if we can't get the camera in. You should see this little canister down there. That canister has a 27 millimeter socket or nut on the top. That's actually the canister that holds that funny looking oil filter. So we're going to want to take that out. The other thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and open our oil fill valve or hole. The reason for that is we want to be able to degas a little bit, and it's going to help make sure that when we're taking the engine oil out, that it's going to go ahead and all drain out. Now it's a good idea to have your engine a little bit warm. Don't make you don't want to do this when it's too hot because you don't want to burn yourself. But I'm going to go ahead and pull that canister out. So to get all the way down to that canister, we're going to need a 27mm socket, a little joint, and then 2 flexible extensions, and that's going to get us all the way down here. So we'll just go ahead, slide down, slide right on top of the cartridge, and then it's just going to be a lefty-loosey, righty-tighty thing here. Go ahead and, while I'm loosening that up, get a couple of rags out so I have something to put the cartridge onto. Once it gets loose enough, go ahead, take the wrench off, reach down with your hand, and it'll come right up. So this is your oil filter right here, and that's the little canister it goes into. Now there's teeth on the top of it. Those teeth let you orient it right inside. So the next step, we got to raise up the, there we go. Got to go ahead and raise the car up, drain the oil, and then we'll just put everything back in reverse order. So on the Jeep Renegade, you're going to want to go ahead and jack the car up. The way you're going to do that is actually by finding the factory jack points on the car. So if you crawl below, put this on an angle, you'll see this arrow, and that corresponds to a spot. Let's see if we can get under there. That's actually cut out to be able to lift the car. For the next step, right there is going to be our oil drain plug. Let me move this out of the way so you can see it. That's on the oil pan. And then grab yourself some sort of oil container, you know, regular oil pan or something like that. Will work just fine when you're doing this at home. And then next thing you're going to need is a 13mm socket. The 13mm is the size of our oil drain plug here. So I'm going to go ahead and crack this. It's going to be lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. You'll see it takes a little bit of force. Then draw our oil pan, move that out of the way just so you can see. Now at this point, you should be able to just unscrew it right on your own, and with any luck you don't spill oil everywhere. There we go. See, the oil is just going to be draining out. Got our drain plug here. It is magnetic, so you can take a look on the end, see if there's any metal. This seems clear, which is a good sign. And then just let that drain out. As you can see now, it's just back down to a drip, no longer a stream. So let's go ahead, close that guy back up. Just hand tighten it back in. This is, you know, an aluminum pan, so you definitely don't want to run into cross-threading or that sort of thing. But go ahead, tighten it up, and snug is the right torque spec here. You don't want to over tighten, but you want it snug enough that it's tight. And then wipe off any of that residual oil. All right, to change the oil filter here, we're gonna go ahead, take our oil filter out of the box, put it down onto our clean paper towel here, and then you'll notice that it's got a O-ring. To remove and replace the O-ring, we've got our trusty flat blade screwdriver here. Go ahead, take that oil filter out. We can now take this oily mess, toss it right in the old box. We'll clean that up later. But you're gonna see the O-ring is right here. So typically I found good luck grabbing flat blade screwdriver, pulling it right off. I like to kind of just dab my hand in some of this oil here, and we want to go ahead and just lubricate the ring. That's going to help with binding when we tighten it up. It's also going to help make sure that it slides on super easy. So that's going to pop right back on. See, it'll snap into place here. Perfect. Just like it should. Your oil filter, remember we said it's got some teeth to it, so just twist it and you'll feel it snap right into place. So next step, I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it back down into that area. I always like to cover it with my hand to make sure it doesn't pick up dirt. Reach down. And once we're down into the area here, just flip it right back over. We can tighten it back up. So we're going to tighten that that cup back up just the same way that we loosened it. So just go ahead and put our 27mm socket down low. And then it's righty-tighty. Now this is plastic going into an aluminum housing, so you don't need to make it crazy tight, but again, snug is going to be what we're going for. Now the oil filter's back in. So now that the 4 quarts are back in, we'll just want to go ahead and check our oil. This is going to be our dipstick right here. Pull it right out, and you want to wipe it off the first time. And that's going to be the range right there, that knurled portion. So let's go ahead, put this guy right back in. Let it sit for a second. And you'll see we've got oil. Let me bring it out. See there? The entire length, which is exactly what we're looking for. So we're filled back up. Next step is going to be closing up the hood and going ahead and resetting the oil change light. Of course, don't forget your oil fill cap. Perfect. All right, so now that we've done the oil change, what we now need to reset is the oil change indicator when you turn the Jeep on. So when it turns on right now, you'll see that it says oil change required. Now, to be able to figure out how to fix that, just go to your owner's manual. This is on page 163. It's different depending on what Jeep you have. 163 has it for if it's got keyless. In my case, it is not a keyless car. So what it's going to tell me to do to reset is turn the ignition switch to run, but do not start the engine. Fully depress the accelerator pedal 3 times within 10 seconds. Turn the ignition switch off, and then if you switch the car back on, it shouldn't show up. So let's go ahead and do that. So we've turned the car off. You can hear the e-brake go. So we're going to turn to run, and then fully 1, 2, 3. And look at that. There it went away. So let's turn off. Turn the car back on. And the oil light is reset. So that's a successful oil change. Now, make sure after you go ahead and drive the car a couple of times, you check the oil just to make sure that, that nothing leaked out. But otherwise, you should be good to go. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more.